Hey everybody, it's Jeff, and this is a recap video for what I was previously calling the Go Component Lab, but I think I'm going to be renaming it just Workbench, because it's basically me working on stuff, whether it's in Go or TypeScript or whatever, and even though I do have kind of like an overarching project that I'm kind of working towards, there are a lot of kind of related offshoots and stuff like that I'm working on. And I actually wanted to do these recap videos. I'd actually been doing recap videos at the end of the streams, and I wanted to see if I could edit them together and see how that would work out. I think after doing that for a while, I decided I should just do the recap videos and post them to YouTube as they come out, separate from the stream. So this is the first one for kind of Workbench / Go Component Lab. And today's a good one because I'm not working on the usual stuff that you might have been watching me follow along. Instead, we worked on some automation stuff for my stream. So if you've seen, I worked on this a long time ago, but basically what happens when I do different streams is I have to go and edit this information every time I switch. And I go back and forth at least once a day for these things, and I have to change the title. I usually don't have to change the category. I have to change the tags, because one stream is game development, one is non-game development. Sometimes I do music, and then I update this. That's pretty simple. I also have a kind of a relevant, useful thing here is I do have my events that I schedule ahead of time, at least putting the dates down. And so what I decided was to make a tool that would automatically set all this stuff. So I could basically just run a command that looks like this, and I can say, give the argument tickle 3D, or I can say GCL for Go Component Lab, and it would do the appropriate changing tags and title and stuff like that. It would actually look up the title from the calendar. So whatever the next event is that is for GCL or tickle, it would pick that. So this was the script. We had to do some working with the Twitch API, which was not very well documented, and we had to do like a bunch of requests to get these IDs. And so, these are all kind of hard-coded, the tag IDs and stuff like this. So anyway, that was cool, except the other thing was I was archiving my streams to YouTube. And the way to do that on Twitch is when you have... Let's see, how do I do this? Video producer. So they don't have an API for it, but you can basically go here and go to export and hit start export, and then someday maybe it ends up on YouTube. They don't have an API for this, so I created a tool to automate that with Puppeteer, which is a JavaScript library. And it doesn't have to be JavaScript, but this is the only good libraries in JavaScript. So Puppeteer will create a Chrome instance and let you drive it using the DevTools API. And so let's see, export. Is this the right? Yeah, this is the right one. And so it would basically go and just click that export button for me. But then I started using Restream, which basically I stream to Restream, and it restreams to Twitch and YouTube and whatever else that I want to do. And so that changed things, because now I'm not exporting to YouTube, I'm just also streaming to YouTube. And the problem with that is then I have to do the same thing on Twitch, which is I have to go to live streaming and set this stream information before I start streaming. So for a while I was just copy and pasting, but then that defeats the whole point of the script. I would run the script, copy it from Twitch, and then paste it into this. So that was getting kind of annoying. So today the point was to try and automate that part of it. So using the YouTube API, going in and setting this stuff via code. So I started with some basically the same normal difficult stuff of figuring out authentication, which Google had their sample code was out of date. I had to find some other examples to kind of piece together something that worked. It requires an OAuth flow, and that was really obnoxious and sent me down a path where I had to basically what the code that the sample gave me was, oh, if it doesn't have a token, an OAuth token, it will generate a URL and print it out, and then I have to copy that into the browser and then do the authentication approve, do the OAuth flow, and then it redirects to a bad URL, but then has the access code in the URL, and I have to copy that. But because Chrome is really annoying and always copies the full URL, I have to paste that into a text file first and then take the URL out and then paste that into the command line before it can then actually get an OAuth token, and then it'll store it in a local token.json file and use that until it expires. So that was really annoying, and I tried to automate that, and my first attempt was to basically use Puppeteer, and it was working out okay. The problem was it wouldn't actually let me log in. So I was doing the authentication, and I have two-factor auth, and I do all the stuff, and it says something went wrong. And in every context, I could do this in Chrome, Incognito, and all these things, but for some reason doing it through Puppeteer, which is a custom, Chrome instance, but should work just like any other Chrome instance, it didn't work. Maybe because it was detecting that it was driven by automation, I don't know. Then I realized, whoa, I'm an idiot. It's actually redirecting to a URL, which is localhost 8080. So all I have to do is listen on localhost 8080 and grab the, basically do this, right? Create a little web server that listens and grabs the code and sends it on the channel, and then I can get the auth code that way instead of having to read it from standard in, shut down the web server, and then go on as usual. And so that works out pretty well. I also got this code, actually happened to come from a YouTube sample, some outdated code. Basically does a cross-platform open URL, so it will call open URL with the auth URL, and so my default browser pops up. I click sign in, and then I can close that browser or go back to the thing, and it would have basically been done at that point. And so that's really cool. I can show you what that looks like. If I were to delete this token, I can run this again, and it pops this open. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I'm already logged in, so I don't even have to enter my password or anything. This is an empty page. The point was to grab that URL and use that to get an OAuth token, which it then saves here. But then it runs everything and it updates both YouTube and Twitch. So that's pretty cool. Definitely more stuff to automate and could be smoother, but this is definitely a nice improvement. So I'm going to be taking a break from the QRPC stuff just for a little bit because I know what I want to do next, but it's kind of like a lot of work. So I'm going to spend some time investing in automation for my stream, because that's ultimately what we're going to come back around and do with some of the QRPC stuff, making this kind of automation a lot easier. So until then, I'm going to be doing some, dumb automation with this stuff, and this is all in my prototypes repository. It will not have my token, but there will be some other stuff in there, so you can use it as a reference if you want to do something similar. Anyway, that's it for the update, for the recap of what I did today, and you should look forward to more of these kinds of videos, kind of explaining what I did at the end of the day in real time. Let me know what you think of these. I think these are a much easier way than trying to watch through the 2-hour-long stream after the fact, even at 2x speed. I think doing little recap videos is a lot better, but let me know what you think. So comment and let me know. All right, see everybody.